Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's Game of Thrones Season 5 Predictions Update number 3. This is an update to a Season 5 prediction video I did, which you can find a link to in the description below. Major spoiler warnings for both videos, as these predictions are based off of the Song of Ice and Fire book series on which the show is based. So you should only watch these videos if you had read the books, otherwise things will be spoiled for you. Also, spoiler warning for production of Season 5, particularly for this video where I go into quite some detail on some of the scenes that are reportedly being shot for Season 5. So in this video, I'll go over some of the latest filming and production information and rumors floating about the internet and how they may affect some of the predictions I made in my Season 5 prediction video. So first, let me talk about something that was reported the day after I made my last update video, and that is that Charles Dance said in an interview that he isn't completely cut out of Season 5 and that you haven't seen the last of Tywin Lannister. This has led some people to speculate that Tywin Lannister may still be alive, but I think that's obviously not the case, and he's probably referring to one of two possibilities. One being he's playing Tywin's dead body at his funeral, and the other is that he's appearing in the flashback. I personally think it will be both. I'm not sure how they will, but I hope that they will have the scene where Tywin's dead body was smiling at the funeral, as I thought that was an interesting dark humor moment in the novel I think would translate well to screen. They could also do the part about his body smelling a lot, but that part I care a little less about because I don't think that would translate as well to screen. And as for the flashbacks, well, that leads me to another piece of news that came out a bit more recently, where David and Dan announced that there will be flashbacks for the first time in Season 5. This goes along with a prediction I made in my video based off the casting rumors that they were looking for someone to play Maggie the Frog in a young Cersei, that they would do a flashback scene. And it is entirely possible that a younger Tywin Lannister could appear in this flashback as well. Or, now that we know they're doing flashbacks, there could possibly be another flashback involving Tywin Lannister. Another prediction I made in my predictions video was that Bran's storyline this season would consist mostly of him training to be a warg and a greenseer, and therefore we might get some flashbacks, perhaps some important ones exploring events before the show began, and now that possibility seems a bit more likely. So, as with most production rumors, you have to take it with a grain of salt, as it may not be the case. But there have been detailed accounts of a scene involving Jaime, Bronn, and the Sand Snakes. According to the account, Jaime and Bronn arrive in Dorne to find Marcella and Trystane kissing, which Jaime doesn't react kindly to, inciting a fight between them, in which the three Sand Snakes show up to defend their prince and take on Jaime and Bronn. And the fight is halted when Erehota and his men show up to put a stop to it. Now, again, this might not be the case, but there have been multiple reports of Nikolai Costa-Waldau practicing for sword fighting scenes. So in my prediction video, I mentioned there was already a rumor out that Obara Sand would battle against a character whom she did not meet in the books. And in that video, I predicted it would be Jaime, thinking that Bronn would not be going to Dorne. But in my first update video, when I learned that Bronn would be going to Dorne, I amended that prediction to say Bronn would be the one who fights Obara Sand. But if this rumor turns out to be true, it may mean that they are both going to fight all three Sand Snakes. But perhaps one of them gets a more protracted fight with Obara, and I'm calling it now that it's going to be Jaime. With one hand, Jamie is no longer that great of a fighter as Bronn is, but I think Jamie is the more important character here. Plus, hearing the actor was seen practicing for sword fighting tells me that his fight may be more important. So I predict Jamie would have gotten better at sword fighting during the gap between season 4 and 5 as he continued practicing with Bronn, and he starts to get some of his mojo back a lot sooner than he did in the books. Also, if this rumor turns out to be true, it would seem to confirm my prediction that season 5 would involve a Romeo and Juliet type romance between Trystane and Marcella, and that Jamie was sent to Dorne by Cersei to retrieve Marcella. There was also a couple of specific rumors floating about regarding King's Landing that was reported by a friend of someone who was an extra, so it goes to show you how unreliable these rumors might be. But some aspects of it are confirmed by photographs, which is why I'm talking about it here. One is that Littlefinger will be in King's Landing and will be approached by a group of sparrows who interrogate him before letting him pass. And that group will be led by a short-haired, born-again Lancel Lannister. Now, that part of this has been confirmed by photos is that Aidan Gillen, the actor who plays Littlefinger, was seen on set filming a scene in King's Landing. So at least that part of it appears to be true. So what does that mean for my predictions? Well, regarding Littlefinger, I said I was uncertain exactly what he and Sansa would be up to this season, only that it would involve show-created material not in the books, and in my update video I added that it was possible they would not stay in the Vale and could go anywhere. Well, for this information would confirm its show-created material, as Littlefinger does not go to King's Landing in the books. However, I seriously hope that Sansa did not return to King's Landing with him, which would be quite ridiculous considering how much Cersei wants to find her and kill her. No amount of disguise would hide her in King's Landing, and I'm sure neither she nor Littlefinger would be stupid enough to do that, meaning that they are likely separated for at least some of season 5, which isn't really something I saw coming. And the other part of that is Lancel Lannister. If this is true, it would contradict my theory that Lancel would take Onsi Kettleback's place in the show and try to spy on Marjorie for Cersei, and that he's actually going to follow a path closer to his role in the books and be a born-again religious fanatic fighting for the Sparrows. So it looks like I was probably wrong on that one. The other rumor, the same person said, was that a scene was being filmed in which Loras Tyrell was attacked and captured by some sparrows in King's Landing. This would be somewhat contradictory to my prediction that he would follow a similar path to the books and go to Dragonstone and get mortally wounded. It still may happen, but if this is the case, it would seem to suggest his character may follow a different storyline involving the sparrows. There have been detailed accounts of Cersei's Walk of Shame scene, which I'm still predicting will be in the last episode of the season. But it's pretty much confirmed this scene has definitely happened in season 5. These recent accounts report at the end of her Walk of Shame, she's greeted by Qyburn, who throws a blanket around her, and by a group of Lannister men and King's Guard, including Gregor Clegane, meaning we're likely to see Robert Strong this season, and an old man whom the writer assumed would be Kevan Lannister. It's still unconfirmed if it is Kevan Lannister. It could still be another character, but if it is Kevan Lannister, the fact he wasn't recognized as such suggests maybe a recast might occur, and we won't get the same actor who played him in the first 2 seasons. But we'll see. It's all speculation at this point. In a recent interview Dan and Dave gave, in which they said there would be flashbacks in season 5, they mentioned a couple of other things worth noting. First, apparently they heavily implied there will be Winds of Winter spoilers in season 5. Now this all sounds very vague. In my prediction video, I said they would not get into any Winds of Winter material in season 5, and I still hold to that for the most part. But I think there will be a few minor things from Winds of Winter that will play in season 5, but I don't expect it to be too much, nor anything major like the battle at Winterfell. I would say if they're going to do anything from Winds of Winter, it will most likely involve the White Walkers, as they do not appear in either Feast for Crows and The Dance for Dragons. And as we have seen in the past with Dan and Dave, they don't like going an entire season without checking in with these guys. The other thing they said is that they confirmed there will be filming scenes in Volantis. In my previous update video, I mentioned how it was rumored they were filming a scene for a brothel in Volantis, which confirmed my prediction that Volantis would appear in season 5. However, at the time, I mentioned only the brothel was confirmed, but now apparently they said the whole city is going to be the stand-in for Volantis, which would feature its iconic bridge, which seems to me to be confirmation that my theory that we will get multiple scenes taking place in Volantis is confirmed. And finally, a fairly well-known actor has been cast to play a show-created character. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, as I would butcher it badly. But basically, it's the guy who played Mr. Echo on Lost and Adebisi on Oz. He's cast as a character named Malco, but no other information has been given about this character, not even the location he will be in. So there's been a lot of speculation of which storyline he will be in, whether it be Dorne or Bravos or Marine. However, I heard an interesting theory that he would be a show-created replacement for the role of Makoro, the Red Priest that follows the Lord of Light, who traveled with Tyrion and Jorah before ending up with Victarion and the Ironborn. I think that's an interesting theory, as I think that actor would be well suited for that role. And I see why they would call it a new character, as they may have to change his character story arc entirely, since in all likelihood Victarion will not be on the show. They're saying that it could be similar to the show creating Locke to fill the role of Vargo Hoat. So I like this theory, but at this stage it's just wild fan speculation. So he could end up being anywhere. But I place my bets on, if it's not a substitute for Makoro, he will at least be in Volantis or Marine storylines. I just see him fitting in well with that region. But because they're getting such a well-known actor to play him, I would predict he will be more than just a one-episode minor character. So that's it for my update video number 3. I'll probably be back in a month's time from now to give a next update video, depending on the information that comes out between now and then. In the meantime, you can check out my channel for more Game of Thrones videos, and thanks a lot for watching.